Just closing this.
Yes, sir.
I'm sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible to you guys, right? Hello? Can you confirm, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's visible.
Visible,
Yes.
right? Just okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So I think I shared the syllabus already. I have already shared the full syllabus with the team, like which all topic I'm going to explain. So this is like a first chapter, procurement and tendering. This is the we have to start from the basics actually. So procurement and tendering, there will be always two sides. One in terms of a client and consultant, and second in terms of contractor. So I'll be explaining those things separately. Now, straight away jumping to the first session of first chapter, which is procurement. So if you ask me the definition of procurement, first thing I will tell you, like you should first understand difference between the purchase and procurement. Many companies and many people are confused. Purchase and procurement is same. Purchase is basically you go buy something, you pay it, that's finished purchase. But procurement is more than that actually. It's not just you buy something and pay it. It has a strategic element actually, like to ensure the supply chain management. It start from the end user requirement. Let me give you example that will be very easy to understand. So if you decide to construct a building, you as a person like me, Shamina, or someone like that, we decide to build a building or a home, our dream home in a place in India. This is easy for me to compare with India. So a building I'm constructing. So for that purpose, I am no basically I'm not a mechanical, I'm not a civil engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. So I don't know anything about the civil construction of things. So first thing what I do is approach a consultant. And we'll go to someone who can draw the plan and all. So we will go to a consultant and we would say like, guys, I need to construct a home for myself to stay with me and family to stay. So advise me how it start. When this instruction, when the consultant, whoever you approach, receive this instruction, then that point onwards, the procurement start. I will tell you how it start procurement. One more thing, let me tell you, the procurement, I'm not going to explain a deep into it. Only basic I will explain it because it's a really high level of things. It will take like years to explain also. So but however, you need to understand the difference between purchase, procurement, and tendering. Okay. So in our example, we are telling to the guy like, I need to construct a home. So that point, the consultant's mind or his procurement brain start working. So he will ask you like what kind of building you want. I will tell like two-story building. Okay. What all facility you want? I will explain the facility I want. Okay. Then, for example, I explain the facility I want. I just explain the basic facility I want. Then he will say, dude, I think you need a normal home which you can stay with your family. So you can go ahead with the traditional procurement route. So traditional procurement route means we will do the design and the contractor will construct it. That is traditional procurement route. So first case. Second case, I'm telling I need bit more facilities like I need a specialized swimming pool where I will get hot water, where I will get the temperature of water should change with my mind. So as I give instruction, the water temperature should change. So this is a specification requirement. So this is really need somebody who has technical knowledge and technical experts to be involved. In this case, he will tell, dude, your requirement is really in high side. So if you design something that might not be sufficient, so it's better you approach a contractor who can do design this kind of work and who can construct that. So that is called design build procurement route. So let me explain this to first. So traditional procurement route is what the employer, the client will design. We will pass the design to the contractor. He will construct it. In D&B, design and build both by the contractor who is specialized. For example, if it's a theme park, not everybody has that experience, and client might not be having experience to do that also. So they will go for design build. Okay, this is the place where procurement step in. So we start from the very strategic level. And once you decide the procurement strategy, then you go for tendering. For example, first case that you are building a normal home. So you decide, okay, I will do design and then the contractor construct it. So you prepare design with the help of your consultant. Then you send that design with other documents to the contractors, A, B, C, D contractors for pricing, which is tendering. Okay. So that is the basics of procurement. Then you should understand the purchase is just buying and paying. Procurement is all about involving a strategic element on this. So we have this different traditional procurement route, like traditional procurement route, design build procurement route, EPCM procurement route, EPC procurement route, MC procurement route, CM procurement route, and something called special purpose vehicle, which is PPE and PPI. Saki, you are working in EPC, I believe. Saki, hello, hello, guys. Am I audible to you guys?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So the Saki was working in EPC. In his company, engineering, procurement, construction, everything he will do. So the client, for example, a client, I am a client, okay. So I have a plenty of money. So I will approach a EPC and tell him I need a amusement park just like Disneyland. But I would say I need to construct a refinery just like at NOC. So I will give you only this much of information. Sometimes I even give a bridging documents a bit more refined information. From that point onwards, this EPC company will start engineering. They will do the full design. They will procure the contractors. They will do the what do you call that? Package contractors, and they will do construction also. That is EPC. There is something more called EPCM. In Saki's company, they do EPC, engineering, procurement, and construction. But in EPCM, they do CM, which is construction management. They don't do the proper construction. They will do only construction management. And there is something called MC, which is management contracting, and CM called construction management. MC, CM, and all we will use when there is a really huge development. For example, we developing just like in Saudi Arabia, NEOM or Red Sea development. In those kind of a multi-billion master plan development, we'll be following MC or CM. There's one more very special procurement route is there, which is called PPE and PPI. If I explain one example, you will be understand. In India and all, there is a toll system is there. Whenever you want to pass a road, particular road, we need to pay some X amount of money for that. So that is basically based on PPE system. So the contractor, government, basically government does not have proper money with them, or they have money but they don't want to spend this money into road development or something like that. For example, a country like India, we have a lot of issue with defense because we have covered by Pakistan, China, and different countries. So we spend significant of amount of money for defense. So we don't have money to spend for road development and others. So what we do, a company like L&T or Shapoorji Pallonji, they will step in, they will do the construction, everything for us, and they will collect their fees through the toll and others. This is called the special purpose vehicle, which is PPE and PPI. PPE is basically public and private entrepreneurship. PPI, public partner and private investment. Okay. So, guys, this is about basics of procurement. I would like to ask some question on this, whether you understand or not. Looks everybody slept over. This is a very basic of procurement, guys. So I just want to ask you whether you guys understand. Yeah, Afsal, please shoot. Yeah, Afsal, please.
No, you told you want to ask some question. You can ask.
Yeah, Afsal, which procurement route you using in your company?
We are into the EPC.
Okay, you are into EPC because I know Hafsa is in procurement. So can you just tell me like in EPC, how was your procurement process? In EPC also is a procurement process there. No, how, can you just tell me because that will be helpful for others to understand like how the EPC works.
Uh, because I am working in the client and the contractor. Yes, I
Okay,
am into the developer.
okay. No, no,
So
I
we
mean
are the
like, but you will be procuring contractors, right?
no, we do
Okay,
ourselves.
okay, you do yourself only. So
Mm,
now what I explained is basically the fundamentals of procurement, like
mm,
different routes of procurement. So tendering is not the starting actually. Procurement
mm,
is the starting of the process. The first thing in every any project, each and every project, where we look in, the first thing you will decide the procurement strategy. The procurement strategy is not just the procurement route, it's the procurement of the right contractor, the administration, the discharge, payment, and then the closeout of it. Everything is coming under the procurement globe. Some company is called SCM, Supply Chain Management Department. Everything is there. And general procurement, purchase, and what else? Tendering, contract administration, QSS, everything will be coming under the procurement. It's called CP actually, contracts and procurement, one department. So everything will be coming under that verticals. I hope the procurement is clear for you guys. And because procurement is really a big deal, it's all about strategic definition steps and all. So what I explained is basically very, very minimal of the procurement route and stuff. It can be, you have to understand, like, for example, somebody asking you, Shamina, there is a need to construct a residential building. Which type of procurement will be better? At least you should be able to tell you, guys, I think there is like one, two, three procurement route. Now, considering a residential building, it's like better, we'll do design first and let the contractor construct. And then somebody asking you guys, there is a power station or a substation. What procurement would be better for us? Substation, there is no aesthetic. You don't need to look in the beauty of the project. You what you need is the
Design item,
core. Okay, yeah,
design on build.
yeah, exactly. That's what I want to ask.
Yeah.
This is the what you don't look into aesthetics. So design build is much easy for us. Data centers. Data centers is purely on technical. So which is better? Whether as a client, for example, data centers, I will tell you because I know a bit more about that. Because the client will be always like software giants, be it a Google, Amazon, or Microsoft. So they don't have any experience on this kind of construction. So they always go to DNB or EPCM. But a developer like, for example, a developer like MR Group, or in back in India, a developer like Prestige or Godrej, they have done quite a lot of construction already. So they are well known about the process. So for them, it's easy to go for a traditional procurement route because they know the design, they know how to do the design. So they will say, no, I don't need because design build the process problem is you don't have any control design. All you giving to the contractor. As a client, you can just watch from outside. Because you don't have any control. So for example, if you're constructing your own home also, the first thing is that looks how it looks, does it looks beautiful or not? That's the first concern. So in this case, you need to control the design. So you will say, I'm going to design it, Mr. Contractor, you just construct it. That's all you can do. If you if you say DNB, he will do his own design, which I might not like it as a client, but I cannot tell also because I already agree with kind of procurement road, which is like DNB. So this is basically Indian. So when you choosing somebody asked you guys, you join a developer and somebody asked you there is a project and I need to choose or I need a guidance from you because you guys will be joining as a senior QS or a procurement manager, something like that. So you have to tell them, considering the project, this is the best procurement route. It's not just about there's many concerns, time, quality, cost, plus whether the client know the process, whether the client is confident with the location. Many things will be considered. Okay. I could hear somebody can mute you. Okay, leave it. So this is what about procurement. So procurement, at least the basic routes and traditional and DNB, EPC, EPCM, that you should understand. So as I said, I'm not going deep into details actually. It's just the basic which you should understand. Now we are going to the main thing, which is tendering. So tender process, I just outlined over here. It's basically from first point to last point, where you receive a end user requirement, you decide a procurement strategy, and you decide to go for a traditional procurement route where you design by the employer or the client, and the contractor will start the work. So that is a place where you end user submit the requirement for you. You decide the process. Let's go for the traditional procurement route. Then you start each and guys, this is just a map actually. Down I have listed each and every item separately to explain you. Okay. So the first item you can see the end user requirement. So end user requirement is basically the one who required the service or a material, equipment, whatever. In our case of our examples, we are the end user, we are the clients. We need the home to be built. So this is called end user requirement. Okay. So basically, in a company, if you take as a developer, they will be usually building or constructing villas, residential buildings, everything, and will be selling out. So they will be the client always in a development world. So there is two kind of clients actually, capex clients and opex client. Capex is basically capital expenditure. OpEx is basically operational expenditure. Okay, let me tell you the example. In if you constructing a home, our first example, the capex is basically the building cost, the contractor, everything will be under capex requirement. OpEx is basically the supporting requirement, like you will be sometimes you will put a, for example, you're building something really huge, you will put some advertisement in papers and all. I'm building this thing, not in just home and all. If you're making a apartment of 10th floor apartment with ultra luxury, so the capex will be the construction cost for the luxury building, and opex will be the advertisement cost, permit cost, everything. So in both case, if you're working in a procurement tendering, from both case we will receive requirements actually. So like, first let me start with the capex. So capex requirement will be like, we will be having a consultant on board. We will be having a cost consultant on board. So design consultant will prepare design documents, and cost consultant will prepare a BOQ, everything. And they will, you are a contractor procurement guy or tendering guy. They will send you the end user requirement like, guys, we need to construct a building in this location. Here is the scope of the work. Here is the specification. Here is the indicated BOQ, and this is the tender package. Okay, something like this they will send to you. If you are a contract, it's applicable. Even if you work in a contractor also, this is applicable. Why? I will tell you. For example, if you procuring a subcontractor, okay, so when you prepare a subcontractor, the user has to send you these documents actually. They should tell you the scope of the work. They should provide you specification because you don't know this technical part of it. You are a tender guy or a tender or a procurement guy who always depends on others for the information. We will run the show. We will get the things done, or we will get the right contractor in right time and right quality. That's what we do. So as the end user, whoever be it internal or external, whoever, they will let you know, this is my requirement, guys. This is scope of work. I already drafted scope of work. This is specification. This is, sometimes they will provide a bidder list also. For example, you constructing a villa in a very prestigious area in Dubai. So they will share you the tender package because they already have a cost consultant on board. They will prepare this tender package, everything, and send you like, guys, this is the package. And I suggest A, B, C, D contractors for this work because I think they are the best fit guys for this. We can rely on this information from the end user, but we can do our own investigation out in the market and find the correct fit contractor to do the work. Okay, so now I explained a capex requirement. Just need to add one more thing over here. I was explained in a way that there is a lead consultant who is design consultant on board, and there is a cost consultant on board. But if not, what we will be do? So sometimes some companies might not be having these guys. So you do it by internally. So definitely you need to get some, you need to have some hand-on quantification for sure. The first things like, once the end user give you only the technical specification and drawings. So now your turn, if you know, you have to take the quantity, you prepare a BOQ, you prepare a PTE, you prepare a cost center estimate, then you prepare a tender package. So every company volume one will be there. That is like, standard forms of agreement, particular condition, general condition. That will be there for common for every company. But you need to prepare a BOQ and other cost details. So I hope you understand that capex requirement. In capex, which I explained is basically a construction direct cost. So what if you want to procure a consultant? For example, you decide to start a construction. Okay, you just decide, that's it. You don't have anything. So now first thing, you need to procure a consultant, a cost consultant, and a design consultant. So how you do that? So this case also, your company guy who is running or who is heading the technical departments, he should provide you the scope document. So only he knows what he required. He should provide the scope document. A lead consultant or design consultant should be able to do A, B, C, D, this Y Z things detail. And he should tell you like, I prefer ACOM, WSP or somebody else. Then, you will run the process. So this is what end user requirement. Okay. So this is, it could be anything like, construction requirement or sometimes advertisement requirement, sometimes auditing requirement, consultant requirement, then feasibility requirement. Everything will be coming under end user requirement. So if you are sitting as a guy in tender, you will not be doing only just contractor procurement. You will be doing the tendering for the consultant. You will be do tendering for some material also, like if the like heavy equipments like generator or FHU, AHU, that also you will be doing. So always fix your mind such a way that the end user will send you anything. So that's your duty as a procurement guy to get him his requirement in the time as you require. Why time is important? So every concession will have a program. So as per the program, there will be a what you call the deadlines or milestones. So in the program, they might be already stated in this date, I need this contractor to be on board. Then only I can finish the construction by this date. So this is our duty to get the consultant or contractor before that date. Don't always look into that date. Before that date, you have to get it. That's the best procurement you can provide. Okay, so I think I explained this 2, 3 sentences already. They will be sending a requirement with the scope, specification, and sometime along with the bidder list. Pre-qualification process, generic and project specific. We will select the bidder and get approved through the internal policy. Okay, so as I said earlier, they will be providing you a list of bidders which they might need to provide. The first thing you should check is like whether these bidders are registered or pre-qualified. So in our company system, there will be some X number of bidders or a contractors or a consultants already pre-qualified. Okay, but that's generic pre-qualification. You have to ensure these contractors are fit for this project also. For example, you might have qualified 10 consultants and 10 contractors for a residential building, but that doesn't mean that these contractors will be fit for the a villa project or some industrial project. So even though they qualify pre-qualified, you have to ensure they are suitably qualified for that this particular project. That's called pre-qualification. Guys, this pre-qualification is coming down actually. That's why I'm not explaining much over here. And the bidder pre-qualification process. So once as end user receive the requirement from end user, you go through it, you prepare it, and then the bit of you will check whether these bidders are pre-qualified. If not, you will pre-qualified. Again, you will do the market research to get more number of bidders. Why? Because if you go, because normally as per the tender policy, there will be requirement of minimum 3 bidders. And if you just send RFP only to 3 bidders, what if a couple of bidders, if 2 bidders are declined to submit the proposal, you will be ending up with only 1 bidder. Okay. So that's the reason we always send, like if it's the 3 bidders a requirement, I would say we have to send minimum 6 RFPs. We have to consider minimum 6 bidders in the list. So this is all about end user requirement. The main requirement is like this is the requirement from the party who at the end side, and there's capex, opex. It could be service like consultant, lead consultant, or a contractors. And again, the pre-qualification process I explained. Now I'm going to the pre-qualification process. Guys, I'm just going strictly with the syllabus. Okay, render process. This is a flowchart, and this is just a flowchart. And now we'll end user requirement I explained. I'm going to pre-qualification next. So the pre-qualification process so this is basically the process by which we ensure that the contractor or the consultant is best fit for the process or for the construction. So, for example, a consultant, first let me tell you how consultant will be pre-qualified. So consultant, for example, you going to construct a villa, you have to ensure this consultant has previous experience in villas. They have a big resource of people to do design. They have experience in the country, in the region, and they have done around the globe. So whichever these criteria will be checking. Same for the contractor also. You have to ensure that your requirement. So guys, one more thing. Every companies does have their own pre-qualification procedures. It's sometimes it will be very scrutinized and filtered one. Sometimes it's generic also. But even though the contract is pre-qualified for generically or they have been pre-qualified already, it's always advisable whenever there's a new project, you have to ensure they're pre-qualified for the specific project. One more example, there is one more issue is there. Sometimes this contractor will be pre-qualified 2 3 years before. Okay, but in 2 year time, there will be lot of issues, the lot of changes will be happen in the company. Sometimes they will be facing financial issues, sometimes some legal issues. So even though they qualified, make sure one more time you check and you will pre-qualify them. So pre-qualification basically you checking different categories of information, and you're getting different categories of information from the contractor, and you checking this requirement is matching with your standard or checklist. So finance. So this is basically a very generic requirement. Above and over and above this, there are n number of things we'll explain you. So finance, first thing always, you have to see their financial standing like. So for that, because if company is not financially strong, you will be facing issue in the construction stage. For example, if they have a lot of debts and all, they might not be able to pay their employees. They might not be able to pay the labor. They might not be able to pay suppliers. So that definitely affect the construction, and ultimately client will be suffering. The finance is the first thing. So first thing you ask them, guys, please provide your financial statement, auditing report for last 3 years. Always get last 3 years because 3 years has to be verified. Some company which is will be sinking, sometime will be growing also. So in financial statement, what you look is basically debts and assets for sure. If you know a ratio analysis like current ratio, liability ratio, you can do that also. If you don't know all those things, send this report to your finance department and tell guys, please verify and let us know their financial standing. Commercial standing also. Financial commercial is different actually. Commercial basically they're running projects financial standings. That is will not include assets and all. Okay. So these also ask them for a your commercial standing right now, because if they don't have project, there is no commercial standing for them. If they have some n number of projects which in different stages, that means they're getting money for the operational requirement. Sometimes financial record will be perfect, auditing report will be perfect. But what if they don't have any running projects? That means they don't have a cost, they don't have money running money or a cash flow. Okay, this is basically two things we should check in financial standpoint. Then the experience. This is like a critical thing because they need to have proper experience, like minimum, like different requirement, minimum 10 years of experience. For if you constructing a villa, you will say these guys should have 10 years of minimum experience. Or you can have a experience, but you will need to have a similar experience for 5 years. For some companies like Al Nabuda or like Electech or maybe Jinko, they will be constructing different kind of building. So they have experience, but doesn't mean that they can construct a villa. So that's the reason experience is required 10 years plus. Same time needs similar experience also. Because if you want to construct a villa, we have to ensure these guys, whoever you are considering for tender, should have similar experience that they might have done a villa in previous experience. Then regional experience. This is like one of the key requirement. Because why? Because even though they have experience, even though they have a similar experience, what if they don't have in the region? Some companies who work in Saudi or India, but if they don't have experience in UAE, that will be an issue because they don't have any familiarity with the market. They don't know who's the supplier. They don't know how the system work here. They don't know the market over here. They don't know the labor market. Nothing. They don't know anything. So regional experience is very important. But again, guys, it depends on companies to companies. Sometimes company will not prefer much important regional experience. Sometimes not much into experience. All depends on time to time. So once you do the financial and technical, then this is the something called project-based requirement. You have resource, procedures, standard, certification, labor strength. It's quite simple. A resource means you will tell them to share the resource like your employee list, your organization chart, CVs of key personnel, because that will help you to understand the resource. For example, if the QS, if I'm procuring, I'm pre-qualifying something, I would definitely ask provide the CVs of your guys just to see whether they have MRSCS or relevant experience, different qualification. So resource they will provide you the staff resource, staff CVs, key staff, education, everything. And procedures means like basically their methodologies, their quality procedures, safety procedures, standards. And standards means like ISO, those things, certification like NEBOSH, all those things, labor strength. We will ask for the labor strength. We'll ask for the labor histogram, and also we'll ask for how many projects are running for you. Because if they have 100 labors now, and if they have some 10 projects already running, that is not a good sign actually, because I might face some issue because you don't have sufficient labor strength. So I'll ask you, what is your plan? Like you have already 100 projects in the region, and you're telling like you have 100 labor only. So how do you going to support me in terms of labor? So they will say like, I'm going to recruit some more labors internally, or I have this project going to complete by end of this month, so I'll take those labors, or I will subcontract a portion of the work, something like that. They will tell you like there will be remedies for all this. So once you receive these pre-qualification documents, you always will have comment and send to them. Then location and cultural fit. So this is basically not applicable in a region like UAE and all. Sometimes people will check this company will going to sync with us in culturally. So that's the nowadays is very what do you say that you can't take this requirement, because that will point to the racial discrimination procedures. So every country like UAE and Middle East countries want to provide equal opportunity for all. So cultural fit, though it's there, but we don't say openly. You can see when nowadays, okay, when you see LinkedIn, they will prefer like Western educated. They will not say an European guy, but they will say Western educated, something like that. Then the last one is legal cases. We will check whether they have any legal arbitration litigation is there, because some company we who had always had a history of legal cases and all, that means that they are problematic. So if in my case, if I've seen that their legal history and I could see a lot of arbitration and litigation, I might not be preferring them for to proceed, because this is a red flag for me, because this means that these clients are these contractors basically what do you call that, claims oriented, and they always want to dispute stuff. So this is about pre-qualification. And again, I'm telling you, basically, you qualifying a contractor and ensuring that they are fit for the work. Be it a contractor, be it a consultant. This is called pre-qualification. If you're working consultant or you're working contractor, this principle is same, guys. For example, if you're working a contractor for civil contractors, if you want to procure a MEP subcontractors, you need to went through all those things. Actually, you have to get commercial details, experience, because MEP always critical thing for civil guys. All MEP contractors might not be having similar experience. So someone like if you're constructing a museum or things, you need MEP guys who have a similar museum experience like that. So that's an example. And moving to next one. So we finished the tender process, the flow chart. By end of this session, you will be familiar with the full tender process. Okay, so end user requirement, you got the requirement from the your end user. So he's told like, I need a contractor to construct this building. He provide you some list of contractors. Now you done the pre-qualification based on the criteria A, B, C, D, and whichever you know, you do by yourself. Like finance, you send to finance department. Technical things you send to technical department. So other things you can do by yourself, whichever you can do it by yourself, do it by yourself also. So you done pre-qualification and you shortlist. Just imagine up to these two stages. There's a end user requirement, and there is a pre-qualification. You done already the pre-qualification. Now you choose five bidders. You pre-qualified five bidders. Now it's the time for NDA, which is non-disclosure agreement. Why it's very important to maintain the confidentiality of the documents? Because you pre-qualified someone and you're going to send the tender documents to them. Okay, that is the tender documents with the heart and soul of the contract, the project, the specification, the drawings, your agreement, your condition of contract, your ITT, the reports, your permit, everything will be there. So you have to ensure that should be a confidentiality. So that's the purpose. Then you send the NDA to the contractors and sign it. So NDA basically, if you look into format, it will, the purpose mainly, I'm telling, if you share me this document, I will not disclose any of the confidentiality information to outside. Like, so for example, I'm a contractor, the client is selling NDA to me. So it will have some content like, it first definitely definition will be there, like client means what, employer means what, contractor means what, consultant means what, everything will be there. First section. Then there will be, the name of the contractor consultant will be this contractor, this consultant, enter into a confidentiality agreement to make sure this information shared as part of NDA will not be disclosed to any third party. So that's the main intent. Whatever I'm sharing should be between you and me, not like you can share somebody else. And so that's the main purpose. Even if he want to send this information to a supplier or a subcontractor, that specific requirement should be addressed. So you mentioned third party, like MEP contractors, this, but you can be shared this documents to this contractor, but again, you have to ensure there is a NDA between you and the subcontractor. So somehow, I don't want my information to be go out of anywhere. It should be between you and me. If you're sharing to somebody, make sure there's a similar NDA between you and me, you and him, because there should be confidentiality. So NDA will be sometimes general or sometimes specific, project specific, because sometimes I will be getting NDA for, because for example, I'm a client or other contractor, a contractor like Jinko or Al Nabuda. I will be prepare my general NDA. So I will cover like, no, it's not for project specific. So whatever between you and me, between you and me only. That's it. So you cannot share. It's like I don't mention project name and all. It's generic for a period of time. So because I don't need to send separate NDA whenever there is a project. So I will fix a generic NDA that's applicable for 2 years, something like that. But project specific is what you prepare a what do you call that, NDA, especially for the project. You will mention project name, the scope of work, employer, client. Thus, you will narrate the requirement. So this will be specifically for this project and for this period of time. So that's basically the UNDA will contain. So usually this will be prepared by a contract department, which is verified by legal department, and that will be provided to the tender department. And in NDA, there will be obligation and duties, what client should do in terms of confidentiality and what contractor should do in terms of confidentiality. If a client instance, client shouldn't tell the contractor list to somebody else. He shouldn't disclose the contractor details to some to other party. So client also has obligation, contractor also has obligation. What if we breach it, that remedy will be there. There will be a damages for sure. There will be legal remedies will be there, or monetary damages will be there. As it depends on the NDA. Sometimes there will be litigation, sometimes there will be monetary recovery will be there. That's all depends on what you agreed and what you draft in the agreement. So again, this is also a remedy. Sometimes contractor, soon they receive the tender and stuff, they will publish this in the, in their website and some social media platform. So it's not ideal, because as a client, they want to disclose the information to the society first. They should be the first who disclosing, yes, we have a development in this country, like a multi-billion development, iconic project. So they should be the first person who reveals to the public. If that provision is not there, sometimes contractor, client, everybody put this information in their website or social media platform, because that's adding value to them. So duration of NDA basically depends on the project actually. Sometime 1 year, sometime 5 years. It's all purely depends on company to company and project to project. Okay, so this is basically you send you got a requirement, you pre-qualified, you send NDA. So NDA you send, both of you have to sign it. Okay, you have to sign, and first they have to sign, they send back to you, then you sign, and keep it with you for the rest of time. Guys, how is going? Is everybody slept or what? I
That's okay.
Oh,
Very good.
yeah, listen.
It will
if
be
it's
great
just
if you share.
because if I keep explaining, it will be like only one way. Come now, time to interact. If you in three session, if you have any doubts, always because it's basic things. We have to understand basics, and we have to understand the requirement. Why we are going for an NDA? We should know like why we require to have an NDA, and why need to pre-qualify a contractor. It's not just a compliance requirement. It's just you're safeguarding your company. You be working a contractor. You be in a client or consultant. Any stakeholder, be subcontractor. This is better to follow this process. Yeah, if you have any doubts, please ask, guys.
Very informative lecture, but I think it would be better to give us like example for the non-disclosure agreement.
Taki, next session, we going to have complete practical examples for whichever I explained. One
That's
second, let me
great.
show you something. Just to because let me show you some NTS and stuff. So this is the basic sample of NDA, guys. So I have all this information with me. And next session, I will be showing all practical things. So this page, Saki, I plan like first session, I will explain theoretical part of it. And second session, for all whichever I explained theoretically, I will be showing samples and explaining like the importance and all. That's what my plan like actually. Because if I merge together, that's gonna consume significant amount of time actually. Because if you split into separately, you learn theoretical part first, then you the technical, that practical stuff. And definitely 100% sure nobody of us going to draft an NDA. It will be by a legal department. but it's you should know like why the purpose of the essence of NT. Any other question, guys? Are you bored actually? It's almost 1.5 hours.
What is the main part QS in procurement, especially?
Shafi, I didn't heard you. Sorry, man.
What is the main part in procurement for QS, especially?
Don't put yourself or market as a QS. There is a lot of big world around QS, outside QS. Okay, QS, you should work as a QS for a few years. Then you should maybe work as a senior QS for a few years. Then come out of that, you have to move to contracts and procurement. I mean, because I like this thing, procurement contract, so I'm telling. Or you have to move to commercial manager. This because that's a proper hierarchy, QS, senior QS, then commercial manager. If not, QS, senior QS, contracts and procurement manager. That you should have that step. So as you asked, what is the role of QS? QS is the guy who doing everything, Shafi. I was a QS, I was a senior QS. I was doing these things, that all these things in back in that time also, but unknowingly, I was not know that I'm doing this tendering stuffs. Because what I was, I'm not like I have not learned anything QS in structurally. I'm a mechatronics engineer by about what I've learned, and I step into UAE because I didn't get any job in India due to my very good academic history. So I just reached UAE, and from that point onwards, I start QS. But I was doing tendering, all those things, but I don't know why I'm doing tendering. So as you ask, you are a QS and you have to do everything. You are the one who do the procurement because names and designation will be different. But this thing you also will be doing, Shafi. Uh, be it a pre-contract or be it a post-contract, in one point of time you will be doing. I will tell you because pre-contract obviously you will be part of estimation and you will be doing X, Y, Z. But come to post-contract, you are a main contract. Shafi is in main contractor, right, or EPC? Shafi? Okay.
Yeah,
Sure. You are
say
a
again.
EPC, right?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay, so in EPC, so you are in pre-contract or post-contract?
Post contract.
Post-contract. Okay. So post-contract, because many of guys have the confusion like I'm in post-contract, how tendering and stuff going to help me? And trust me, guys, like for me, some 5 years, tendering was like a rocket science. I was used to see what is tendering, what things happening there, because what I've been told by my seniors, like you are in post contract, you might not be able to go to pre contract stuff and all. So, but I just start learning it, and you now you are in a post contract, so you might have procured subcontractors or labor supply companies or sometimes installation contractors. Is it,
Yeah.
Shafi? That's it. That's the procurement. That's the tendering. You done everything over there also. I'll tell you, like you're procuring a labor supply, very simple labor supply company. You have a strategy how to procure this company for 1 month
Actually,
or yeah.
the procurement department, they are doing the procure of labors.
What is
I'm
your
just
implementation?
certifying their
Your action.
payments,
What is your role in that, Shafi?
the subcontractor payments,
Payments only. Fine,
uh,
no problem.
and
I understand.
materials ordering.
I understand. Okay, so I will tell you. So there is a procurement department for you, but how is going to work you? So like labor supply. First, imagine just put yourself in procurement. Okay, I'm telling you like so you will decide like what source of procurement. The labor supply is going to be 1 year, 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. So that's the strategy at that point. You decide in this procurement. If it's a 1 month, there is no strategic or a strategic sourcing. But if you procure him for 1 year, so you're expecting some sort of pure cooperation from the labor supply. So okay, so that is the point the procurement start. You decide a strategy. Then obviously, man, you have to send the quotation, right? You will send the requirement and you will send quotations to some 3, 4 contractors, right?
No. All it's
Ra-
procurement
Yeah,
department they are doing.
yeah, procurement. I'm just placing yourself over there. So that's the tendering process.
Yeah.
Tendering process is done. You will get return. Now you know, like you can explain them. This is the way you should do, guys. And in QS, you will be getting, for example, if there's a variation,
Yeah.
yeah, for a variation,
Yes.
if there's a new item, you have to get three quotations, right?
Yeah. Correct.
That's it. You that's also part of tender. You go to the market, you're getting three proposal. For that, you need to have a you don't get proposal just like that. You have to prepare a document which called RFP document. You're sending the RFP document to the listed bidders or n number of bidders. If you want quotation from the bidders for price reference, you might not be doing all this pre-qualification stuff and all. Same thing only. That's a part of procurement only. So you have done it actually. Now you just finding it where you have done. I always have this issue actually when I'm back in when I was working QS and all. I always have issue when I can land in tendering and procurement. What they do because I was always in my mind like estimations like you need to take a lot of quantity costing. I thought like it's not my cup of tea. I don't want to take quantity at all. So I was reluctant to. I got a couple of opportunity to step into estimation. I was like reluctantly moved out because I heard like from people like you need to take quantity. So I hate the takeoff the most actually. I sorry to say I'm a quantity surveyor, but still I hate to take quantity. I think many people have same comment whenever asked like I'm a QS, but I don't want to take quantity. So that's the point. Shafi, hope is clear. This like this Shafi, you can connect actually. The work you have done knowingly, unknowingly, you went across this process actually. One more example I want to give in postcard guy. If somebody asks you to for a supplier or a subcontractor, you will give your feedback, right?
Yeah.
You don't know any pre-qualification. You don't get finance. You don't know the technical status. But you said these cases are problematic. You might have given comments. I'm sure. So that's all. That's the pure pre-qualification, guys. You don't know like you have not reviewed the documents. You have not went through financial status. You have not went through the experience. But still, you given the comments and you being part of pre-qualification. That's it. So post, you don't think like if you're in post contract, you have not done all this thing. You have done all. Maybe NDA, I agree, you might not have done. But other, let me come to end user requirement to post contract guys. How many of you are resting from pre-contract? Sorry, this will be boring for them. I'm explaining over and above. Guys, please
I
bear
was
with.
in the pre-contract.
Okay,
Significant. Yes.
Puzzle. It will be boring for you, right? What I'm explaining.
Yeah, I'm kind of like more interested to learn more about the post contract. So
No,
I
that's
think
being very
it's
diplomatic.
yeah.
You're being very diplomatic and the modest answer. Okay, anyway, so at least I'm giving this people a hints like which they have done this part of procurement. Again, coming to end user requirement in post contract stage. In post contract stage, end user requirement. Think of your clients actually, internal clients. Your project manager asks you to submit a cost report. That's the end user requirement. Okay. Your project director asks you for a cash flow statement. That's the end user requirement. Yes. There is an end user whom you have a professional commitment. That's the end user or client. They are called internal clients actually. Whoever do you have a professional commitment is called internal clients. So that's also end user requirement. When our intent come to tendering, like there is an end user requirement who going to construct something or getting a service. That's the only difference. But this something called end user requirement you have seen in the career already. That's it. Yes, guys. Anything more? Because we'll clear all the questions and move forward because that will be good for all of us. Because do not keep anything in your mind confused. Then we will think like I will ask later. No, there's no hard feel. We are a family. Okay, don't think like we something you ask that somebody going to make fun of you. Nothing like that. Please, everybody can learn it actually.
Let me ask you something in general, like as you were saying
Yeah,
that,
for sure, please.
like you said that say you start off like a QS and then a senior QS and then a pathway towards contracts or something like that, because like I think all of us might have like a different sort of experience, and where I'm confused myself is like I don't know what I should target. Like I know that it's a personal preferences, but like I don't know the possibilities. Like okay, we can go for this or we can go for that. So for me, I think like okay, maybe I have to target the post contract, and then like I have to uh, go in that way or something like that. But now, as you were
Not,
saying
not,
that,
okay.
yeah. So if you, yeah, and it's just a general question.
I spent some 7 years in post-contract completely. Like I don't have any experience in pre-contract up to 7 years. So what changed my life is
Yeah,
one
one way. Yeah.
certification.
Sorry to interrupt. Like, yeah, and for the people in pre-contract
Yeah,
QS, I think they would be like targeting to go for the estimator and then that kind of
yeah.
position, and
Obviously,
then
right. Always the
commercial
green in
manager
the
like
other
that.
side.
So
Yeah, yeah. So same as you said, as you working in estimation now, I was in post contract, and I always want to learn this, the tendering steps because that was at that point of time. It was a rocket science for me. I don't know anything about tendering. So what changed my life is one certification called MRICS. I can openly say that was the turning point of my life. From that point, I would say it's not the day I got certification. From the day I decide to take MRCS was the turning point. Because when I'm having the 5 years, yeah, 6 years experience, me and my couple of friends who all having 6 years experience, our aim was only two things. One, salary. Two is like 2 days leave. Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday leave because I used to be in contractor, so we'll have only 1 day leave. And our intention was purely financial, get more salary and get a work-life balance. We were never passionate towards anything like to learn more, nothing because we are hardly like 26, 27 years old at that time. So you can imagine like might not be as serious as it is, but just chilling time. But when I
I'm
joined the
30 and
course,
yeah, I'm like in your
age
position
is
now.
just number, buddy.
That's what it leads to you.
Age is just a number. Don't worry. So, age is just a number actually. So, but we joined the course, and fortunately, all of us failed in the first attempt, and nobody qualified the prelims. So that was the moment like we decided like we should learn actually. What we thought was we can read something, we learn something just like exams. We learn something, we go present the interview and pass. But that point onwards, that really hit our head. So we start preparing. Trust me, guys, we took almost 2.5 years to pass the RHCS. But in 2.5 years, we learned almost everything about the QS world. Not just post contract, the pre contract. Because when before I'm joining the first job in pre contract, what I'm having is experience only theoretic knowledge I got from the RSU studies. With that experience, I jump into what I would say I took a risk obviously because I said okay I can try my luck. I had struggles initially like 1 to 2 months, but after that it was all will cope up. But if you ask me really, if you want to be in this field, either you do MRACS or you do MSIPS. This is the two prestigious certification in this field, and not just UAE or Middle East, around the world I'm talking about. Because when you're having MRIC, MRIC is now getting common actually. Many people are getting that, but MSIPs only very less people because it's a saga. It can take really big amount of time also. So see, apart from certification, your experience knowledge matters actually, and but to get you a leap actually, if you want to jump 2 steps above, this certification will definitely help you. In my experience, guys, different people will have different experience, and I'm not for a debate also. I have seen many people commenting like MRIS is shit, only experience matters. I can agree that experience is really hats off to experience also, but just I will tell you, like if I'm getting a CVs for an interview, I will give a better preference for the guy with MRSCS. I know because this guy went through the examination and he know some theoretical knowledge. Forgot about the practical experience. He knows something theoretically, but I can guide him or I can train him. So that will be in my mind. So even if people tell you like this certification is just a waste of money, it will definitely gonna add you some value also, Faisal. Yeah, because that is differentiating you from other people actually. So, and I don't know which field you like. You being an estimation, but Fazal, you will have a really good chance to step into pure procurement, right?
Yeah, I think it depends on various company structure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that also
So
matters.
I think I have to change the company in order to jump into another department.
No, but see, because you are being an estimation, so you come across this point in one point of time, right? Whichever I'm explained, you might have seen already. And this is definitely part of
Yeah,
procurement also. This is tendering is obviously part of procurement. So if you are interested in procurement, what you do is like just shape or add a little more knowledge in procurement level, like strategic sourcing, maybe like S2P
eh,
stuff.
uh, I agree, but I think, as I said, like it depends on the company, because
I
like
agree.
where we don't relate is that, like for example, there's a pre contract, and once the project is awarded, the issues that we face. So, for example, estimation versus project team. So it is like cats and
I agree.
dogs at times. So the procurement also, I think it's ABC. So
Yeah.
I really think it depends on the company, but yeah, in order to like get a vast experience, I think for now I feel like I have to change the company in order to, I have to go to another environment in order to enhance myself.
Where you can
So
learn really what you want to learn.
yeah, so I
You
think
know,
I have come to realization after, like as you were saying, like
did
2
I
days
pushing
holidays,
you
and then
guys to change the companies and all?
no, I think I personally realized like very lately. I mean, like we have to keep changing in order to enhance ourselves for at least for a certain period of time.
Yeah,
So that I
Fazal, if
realized
you ask me,
very
like,
lately.
we have to change companies. That royalty period is the end, actually. Don't think like you have to spend some significant amount of time in one company, or else you will get a black mark in the market. That's over, actually. That era is over. The duration you work with me, you work honestly. That's it. I shift some almost six companies in my short career, like because and ultimately that adding a lot of values actually in each company. I'm learning something new actually from, because if I sticking one company for 10 years, I'm like a guy who know only what is there in the company. But when I'm shifting one to one, it's like it's a learning curve for me also. I was learning A, B, C, D, C, and sometimes I was able to correct some companies, uh, because the system which I would learn, which is better, I would try to implement over here. That is going to add some value for us, because some people, some even big companies are not aware of the outside world actually. People like us who work in different companies, and when introducing new things, first thing they will say no, second no, three no, then we have to prepare a presentation and explain, guys, this is very diplomatically, without hurting anybody's feeling, we should present it, and they will realize, they will implement that. That is the point, they will consider you as a pure asset. I mean, I'm talking, guys, all in my experience, okay? It will be different from people to people and place to place, actually. If you see my LinkedIn profile, you can see my experience. Like in some companies, I work in 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, and I think my longest tenure is like 3.5 years in one company. That's my longest, and the remaining all like 1.5 year, 2 years. Because I sometimes I feel bored also, doing same thing. Nothing is challenging, so I sometimes I use change, like I have to move because nothing is engaging me over there. So I should move also. And sometimes after getting married, I just stop that process because some personal commitment, but remaining all good. So guys, can we already 10:41? Are you okay to go two more slides, or we stop here? Hi, no answers. You will do
It's your wish.
two more
Let,
slides, okay?
let, oh, it would be good.
Yeah, Shafi, what are you telling?
It's your wish.
I really can't hear you, buddy.
It's your wish.
I'm okay. I'm okay with, because if you guys are not understanding, I'll stop it all, because our brain has to feed, sometimes after 2 hours and all, people will
Go
be
ahead.
drained also.
Go
I don't
ahead.
mind. I don't mind taking 3 4 sessions. Okay, even I said 2 sessions doesn't mean that I will be sticking 2 sessions. I don't mind taking 100 n number of sessions unless you understand. What do you think? Will do other
Go
way,
ahead.
or like?
Go ahead. Go ahead for two slides.
Yeah, let's do 2 slides. Okay, because these are all very important, so we have to be careful also. So guys, next is pre-tender meeting. Okay, so we have an end user requirement, and end user requirement we verified, and they provide you some bidder list, and we pre-qualify these bidders, and we send NDA to these bidders, so confidentiality has been agreed. Now this is a pre-tender meeting. So you will invite these bidders for a pre-tender meeting. The first thing, you should invite them separately. Don't ever do such a mistake like you will invite them in a single meeting, and do invite them separately in different time frame. You ensure they don't meet each other, because if they meet each other, there is possibility of many things like bid rotation, bid rigging, suicidal bidding, everything will become the picture. So make it pre-tender meeting separately. The function of pre-tender meetings, basically, you explain them like, this is what we look forward from you. Okay, because so that they will not be confused when they receive the RFP. You tell them upfront, like, guys, this is what we looking from you. We want you to propose this thing, or we want you to work for this thing. So you propose X, Y, Z, like that. So you have to explain in a very proper or good presentation way whatever your requirement. It's better to have a good presentation. You list out your requirement and project in front of them. This is what we're looking from you. So you have to deliver these things in the best way. So you telling upfront, and same time you will give them an opportunity, like to present themselves. They will usually, first thing will be, they will in pre-tender meeting they will present themselves actually, because we know them through couple of mails or through NDA or pre-qualification. Now they will present you like, this is what our core team, our core experience, our technical experience, our technical staff, our like major projects, major achievements, everything they will present, because basically they're trying to impress you for sure. Being a client, you will be always having an upside in that, and they will try to present in the best way. So each of them present the best way, and once you tell them like, guys, this is what I am looking forward from your end, they will ask a question also. Because by doing this, because before issuing the tender, upfront you telling them your requirement, and they asking question also to clarify like, what really they can do, whether it's to be considered, is not to be considered. Sometimes, guys, it's advisable to prepare a questionnaire also. You send questionnaire, or because as a agenda of meeting, you put your what you call that, your deliverable list, your requirements, and you send to them. If you have any question, come back to that when they come to meeting, they will come back with the question. So that will be easy communication, like, and pre-tender meeting is very, very important. You know why? Because sometimes if there's no pre-tender meeting, you send an RFP, and they will send you like, tell you like, no, we cannot participate. They will decline. This is not our core experience. We can't do this kind of work. But when we have a pre-tender meeting, you explain your requirement, and if they said yes or no in that meeting, and it's help you to save some time or find a new contractor also. If you already shortlisted 5 vendors, and pre-tender meeting, three of them telling, no, this is not our expertise, this getting a chance for you to find new bidders before issuing RFP. But all of them are okay, you can issue RFP for all of them. But three of them are not ready, then you can find three more bidders and then conduct same pre-tender meeting, then you can send RFP. So that is the significance of pre-tender meeting. Many people consider this as a waste of time actually. So they're telling like we already called pre-qualified. Why do you want to conduct pre-tender meeting? Why do you want to explain why they cannot read it? Those things argument will be there. But what do you want to explain, guys? In any case, after we explaining our requirement, and if they are not okay to work, or if it's not their pure expertise, you always have a chance to find a new guy. And one more thing is that when they explaining, they presenting themselves, you also understand, are they good to go? Are they okay to proceed? If somebody presenting and you think that's they are like completely dumb people, you can find new guys actually. You search new people before sending RFP. So it gonna save a lot of time. Pre-tender meeting usually conducted between tender department, I mean from the client side, tender department, procurement department, cost department, and project department will be there. Like tender, procurement, cost, and project. From there in, the core people will be there. So always tell them when they coming to present, the core people should be there. Somebody who can take decisions, not like they can't send someone junior people to the presentation. That's like, because we are representing a client, and then they send some junior people. That's not a right way. And so we done a pre-tender meetings, and now the time for RFP, which is a request for proposal. First thing, you have to prepare a RFP document, like it will have volume 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And so this is the first starting point of RFP, where you send the RFP. So parallelly, you prepare the volume 1 to 5 document. Same time, you prepare a RFP program also. The RFP program should be prepared such a way that from the baseline program, you know that in this date, this contractor to be onboarded. Okay, if that contractor to be onboarded, you need to be you need to award the contract minimum 1 week before the cutoff date. So in this perspective, you have to prepare a RFP program. So RFP program will be very basic program, which include issue of the RFP issue date will be there. So this is the RFP issue date. This date I will be issue RFP. The site visit, which date they have to make a site visit. Then mid-tender meetings date will be there. Then last date for sending TQs will be there, and submission cutoff date. So these documents will be there in the RFP program. So issue RFP date, which goes the date which you send RFP or tender documents, or tender documents called RFP date. Then obviously they have to make a site visit, because nobody can do site work without site visit. Site visit is very important. Why? Because you will be providing some X number of documents to them, like a report, SS, geotechnical, site investigation. But even though FIDIC clause number 4.10 says that contractor has to ensure that they have to make site visit physically and deem that they understood everything. So that's a site visit is very important in tender program. So site visit date you mentioned, and you have to mention the person's name also. In this guy you can contact for site visit. So, and ensure site visit should be separately for all bidders. Okay. Then mid-tender meeting, like in the you just to check the progress of the RFP, because if there's a big like a million, like 100 million work, there will be some minimum over 2 months tender period will be there. So in 2 month tender period, after 1 month, you conduct a meeting just to see where they're standing, what they got, and all. So you can always expedite on that point. Then last date for TQ. So TQ is basically tender queries. Okay. So in which date, guys, this TQ I'm explaining in the in upcoming slides. So don't worry. I'm explaining in detail. Don't worry. So TQ, in which date they can send TQ, because why TQ is important. If they keep sending TQs, it will not reach anywhere. They will send TQ just before the cutoff date also. So TQ date you will fix almost like 2 weeks before the cutoff date. After this, you don't send TQ. You have time, guys. Contractor has time. You should verify all the documents, and whichever question, be it technical in nature or be it a commercial in nature, you should send me before this day. So then that's a TQ last date, then submission cutoff date. This is the cutoff date for the submission of RFP. Any RFP or any tender submitted after that will not be considered. So this is a tender program or RFP program. Now we have volume 1, 2, 3, 4, and volume 5 actually, which is other documents. Volume 1 is basically ITT. It will have ITT. Guys, this ITT and volumes are really important. Can I explain tomorrow, because it's the core of an RFP document. Because if I explain now, like I don't know how effective it's going to be, because that contain like different document like ITT, LOT, and agreements, general conditions, political conditions, everything will be there. So I'm a bit like reluctant to explain now. If you guys are okay, I can explain. I'm just asking you. If you're okay with that, I can explain. I'm okay with that. What about others?
I'm also okay. Okay.
We'll do tomorrow.
Tomorrow, sir.
Okay, fine. Because
Tomorrow
that's
would
very
be
important,
fine.
guys. I don't want to explain the last moment, and if you don't understand and all. But if you explain tomorrow, it will like in the fresh brain you will get that information. I think it's clear, right? I'm in this pre-tender meeting or something. You have any confusions? It's very simple. Can you just send a RFP with this information which I explained? I mean, you should be able to ideally, like if your company telling you start a tendering process, can you start by yourself with only with the information which I shared? I'm asking like you start with the NDA and user requirement pre-qualification, just things. Can you maybe if when I show you like the samples and all, you will be able to probably. Any doubts, guys? Because now anyway, remaining things we will take tomorrow only. So if you want any clarification things, just ping me over here. Like I can wait, like unless you ask, I can
RFP
wait.
and tender, both are same term or any different?
What, Shafi?
RFP and forms of tender are same or different terms?
RFP is basically request for proposal, and forms of tender is the form which there is in the first page will be the form of tender. That's a form of tender. It's a different term actually. Our RFP is basically the full process you called a RFP, request for proposal. And if it's a quotation, RFQ, request for quotation. A form of tender, everything separate. I will show you all these documents, Shafi. Form of tender and form of contract, just as you ask anyway. Form of tender will be in tender stage. Form of contract will be in contract stage. So when you convert this tender into contract, the form of tender will exactly move to form of contract. And the main difference between tender documents and the contract document will be the PTCs. PTC and TQ will not be part of tender documents. This will go into the contract documents when you compile the contracts. So the form of tender is the key page of a tender document where you have to write your what do you call that proposal values, just blah blah and all, which convert to form of contract when you compile the contract. Exactly same purpose. The name you change, but you put there the name will be like tender value or proposal value. Here the name will be contract amount or something like that, depends on the form of contract you have. But there only you will listing out what a contract constitute, what is the amount, everything will be listing in that form only. So form of contract is or form of tender is a very good you asked. It's a very important document, Shafi.
Yeah, it's clear. Thanks.
Thank you. And Fazal, this is my method of teaching. You asked the question, right? Hello?
Yeah, sure. Like I think, yeah. We'll go
So
through,
that's the
like,
reason I
kind of
told you, like,
getting
I
sync.
will teach you first, then you will understand like how I really going to teach. Guys, I will prepare a WhatsApp group for us. Only, I think 6 of us, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7 or 8 of us. So I will be putting whatever documents you want. Ask me over there. I can share you. But something with confidential information, I will request just to keep within the group only. And secondly, if you want any RACS support, let me know. If you working towards RACS, yeah, Shamina. But I don't know where you standing actually. So yeah, no worries, because others you can ping me personally. Yeah. I think you all of you have you put your numbers under in the list, right? In that I sent a registration form actually. Did you guys already fill the details? I have sent an Excel actually in the mail, so you can just put your details, steps and all, yeah. And I will consider only these group only, because already I start one section. Whoever joined might not be getting the benefit out of it. So we next upcoming session, let's see who all ending up by after 3 sessions. Okay, guys, if nothing is there, I can wrap up. And if any question, I'm ready to wait. If there is no question, there's only two meanings actually. Either you don't understand anything or you understand everything. Which one should I take? Subhish and Arun, you guys are very silent. Subhish and Arun, I never heard back from Subhish and Arun.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Subhish. Yeah, Arun, Subhish. Yeah, you guys slept
We
already
are
or
just
like?
listening. No. We are just like listening.
How's the session? You have any doubts?
Yeah, it's good. Actually, I'm very junior. Consider the other candidates.
Then
Maybe I
you
will.
should have made doubts, Subhish. If you're junior, you so if you feel like asking over here, just message me.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, sir.
If I'm just putting my number over here, somebody can create a WhatsApp group. Okay, I can. Or can you guys put your WhatsApp number and name over here, please? Just your name and your WhatsApp number, please. Hi, Saki. How are you?
Yes.
How's things,
Hello.
buddy? Yeah, Saki.
Very informative lecture, really.
Any doubts, man? Something more I need to focus? Let me know.
Okay, we will, inshallah.
Just whatever you feel, guys, let me know, okay? Because if I miss some part of it or you think I need to concentrate some more, just let me know. Like for example, because now whichever I explained, like prerequisite of an RFP is the core part of it. So be it a pre-qualification, NT, everything is a prerequisite of an RFP process. So the RFP is basically the core part of it. Definitely, I'm going to take a big amount of time for that. I will be explaining like each what is constitute everything for that. So hopefully, from that section also you and anything if I'm missing or you think that that point is not been added, let me know, please. And I will share you my WhatsApp number over here. And if you have any doubts, you can ping separately also. 1 second, let me put that right away. I just put my WhatsApp number over here. Then okay, thank you guys. if any doubts in, if you want to ask me personally, ping me over. But I would say, you ask over here, like everybody can listen to those doubts and it will be beneficial for, because Shafi asked me like what is form of that difference between RFP and forms of tender. So now all of you know what is that. So if you could ask me over here, it will be helpful for all of us actually. Thank you guys. I don't have much to explain. We'll see tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and we'll try to make it like 8:30 UA time, because I know it's 12:30 in India, right? It's time to sleep. Okay. Sorry, I don't understand, Meena.
No, it's okay. I don't have any problem.
Okay, guys. So can we wrap up today?
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Oh,
Thank you
okay,
very
sir.
much. Okay. Bye. Bye. See you. Good
Okay.
night.
Thank you,
Please
sir.
share that recorded
Bye.
videos.
Yeah, let me see where it is actually. I don't know where it's going to record. I need to check in my share folder. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.